Hello and welcome to Bellas Fashionistas. I am your host, Florissa Bello. We are live from BronxNet Studios and BronxNet TV channel 67 and 33. Be sure to follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and on LinkedIn at Bellas Fashionistas and BronxNet TV. Today is the last Thursday in February, everyone, and our last episode of the first season of Bellas Fashion Series, where we highlight Latinas who have excelled in the fashion industry. On today's program, we welcome a celebrity fashion stylist, image consultant, a rising star who under just 3 years has been styling local and international talent and celebrity Latin artists. The company is Pepa Garcia. They specialize in color patterns and textures that accentuate her clients' best features while keeping them in the latest fashion trends. Followed by Bellas FireSide Chat, a conversation with the president and CEO of Latinas in Business, a nonprofit organization that advocates for the economic empowerment of Latinas and minority woman-owned businesses. Please join me in welcoming celebrity fashion stylist and image consultant who is also a Dominicana, the president of Pepa Garcia. Pepa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, especially today, 27th of February, Independence Dominican
Yes,
Day.
Dominican Independence Day. OMG. Yes. I totally forgot about that,
Yes.
Pepa. Oh, my God. Now, tell us, Pepa, what is Pepa and why Pepa Garcia?
Oh, it's a very interesting story. So why Pepa? Pepa is actually a Peruvian candy. My husband is Peruvian, and my name came from that. His dad actually named me because the lady on the wrapper is a dark-skinned woman, and she had like a color of the candy. It's all color on her hair, and they know that I loved color. So he passed away in 2014, and I decided to name my business after that nickname because he was someone who was a go-getter. There was no limits for him, and I feel like naming my business after Pepa, it was like a good luck charm.
Aww.
Yes.
It is a blessing, and you're continuing his legacy. Look at you.
Basically, the hardworking legacy, yes.
And it's a pleasure to have you here, Pepa, because you have, under just 3 years, like you just incorporated your company and all of a sudden you're just Univision Nueva York.
Yes.
You're the wardrobe stylist and you also appear under fashion segments.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Tell us tell us about that. But first, I want you to tell us, Pepa, because it's always interesting to learn your story. And that's why we're here today.
Yes.
And that's what Bellas Fashionistas does. We share the story of how you made it, of how you got to where you are. So.
Right, and still transitioning, but who is Pepa? I am a Latina Dominicana, a self-made entrepreneur. I started my business, and in terms of the fashion, my journey started as a fashion blogger. I did go to school for fashion marketing and merchandising. I went to Berkeley College in New York, and from there, I always knew since I was a little girl that I loved everything to do with fashion, color, coordinating. My friends would come to me and say, "What are you wearing? Only you could wear that. Like, how can I do that with myself?" And so I always knew that was always something that I knew that I would be doing. I will be dreaming, and I'll dream of going into the stores in New York, me living in Dominican Republic, going through clothing of racks and like dressing people. It's just, something that you're born with, in my opinion.
Are you serious?
Yes, 100%. And so I was never a school person, like a going to college person, but I did understand that you need to get educated. You cannot just sit and teach something that you haven't learned and you haven't educated yourself in. Because I'm more of a hands-on person, but I did come to the understanding that I needed to go to school and obtain a degree. And so I did that, but I knew that maybe profitable wasn't so much. As we know, sometimes fashion, it takes a long time for you to be successful and whatnot. And so through trying to decide, I became banking. I went to banking. I was a banking mortgage servicing loan officer. I did regular banking as a teller. So I always got promoted and so forth. I'm never the type to just stay still. I always want more. I want to succeed. And so I stayed in banking up to the end of 2019, when after being a fashion blogger in 17 and 18, and then decided to go and take a styling class. So on Instagram showed up this ad about a styling course with a celebrity stylist in Miami. And I discussed it with my husband, and I'm like, I think I need to do this course because this is going to tell me where do I want to, what direction I want to take in terms of fashion. Mm-hmm. And so I took the course. I traveled to Miami, and it was amazing because it taught me the basics. It taught me all the techniques that I needed to learn to become a fashion stylist. Mm-hmm. So once I decided, I knew I didn't want to be like award shows specifically, or maybe editorial. I knew I wanted to work directly with person to person, and of course, then as I go and I learn, see where I'm going to be placed, what direction. Yes, so then I come back to New York after that course in Miami, and another ad shows up about communications course. I then take a communications workshop, which helped me and taught me how to communicate in front of a camera, how to handle myself perhaps in an interview, mm-hmm. or I learned how to read a teleprompter. And all those things helped me to be a correspondent, a fashion correspondent, because like you said, I'm on TV talking fashion. And so all those tools absolutely were fundamental in order mm-hmm. for me to have somewhat of a complete circle in what I wanted to become. And so once I do those two classes, I feel like, okay, I feel like I'm ready. I did the fashion blogging, so I was working early on with brands where I would use their clothing, model for them, and basically write about it. You know, one outfit different ways, how to style one shirt with different pants, and so forth. And I found that I loved writing about fashion, which is something that I learned in school, even though I wasn't like a fan of the whole writing thing. But they say when you love something, mm-hmm. it becomes something that you really want to do. So basically, was preparing myself from having a college degree, from taking the styling workshop, and then from taking the communications workshop, which was really ironic because the internship from that communications course was at Univision, New York. However, I had already done a fashion segment with them because as a fashion blogger, one of the stores that I collaborated with used to dress some of their entertainment talent. And so they were doing a fashion segment, and she was like, I am so shy. There is no way I'm going to be on TV, so I need you to handle this. So I set up I produced the whole runway, the whole show. I got the models. We set up a red carpet in her store.
But how did you just do that? I mean, it's amazing. It is amazing how all these opportunities came about, but because yes. you also search for them.
Absolutely.
And you know, I do feel that we are destined to do something.
I believe that.
And
too.
you know, and you put that vision where you were younger, mm-hmm. and all of a sudden you're like planning
it's a little bizarre.
For Univision,
yes.
New York. And you were able to do all these
yes.
things right after each other.
Yes.
You were like meant for this, Pepa.
It was like everything was linking me, believe it or not, to Univision for some reason.
Yeah.
So we did that whole fashion show, and that was my first time being on TV with Unimas, which was a part of Univision New York, mm-hmm. and Univision. And so we do the show. It's amazing. When I go and do that communications workshop, and I find out that they're taking us to Univision again as an internship type of thing, I was like, this is like a sign. Didn't think much about it. I did what I needed to do. I always say, no matter what it is that you do, you have to do it your best. Because number one, you never know who's watching, but not just because they're watching you, just so that you know that you did your best. And if something mm-hmm. doesn't come out of that, you're satisfied because you know what? You gave it your all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that was my transition as far as the schooling and the classes that I took. And then how do I go work for Univision? And it is what it said about these social platforms. I got contacted through Instagram by one of their anchors, their news presenters, because she saw a style of something that I wore, and I have posted it on my feed. Crazy enough, then she asks me if I can style her for her birthday brunch. I style her for the brunch, and she calls me. She's like, oh my God, everybody loved the outfit. You made me look how I wanted to look. Because that's what a stylist does. Mm-hmm. We help you project the image that you want to communicate without even speaking. You know, so I was very, very flattered and satisfied with my work. So she tells me that everybody loved it, and then she contacts me and she's like, how about you want to dress me for the news? Like, this would be a great opportunity. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I did not hesitate. I am not, like, if I want to go for something, I don't think about it. It's almost as like a robotic thing where I know that's what I want and I'm going to go do it.
That is amazing,
you know?
Pepa.
And of course, you have to think about if this is going to work out, mm-hmm. or how can I make it work? Because remember, during the whole time up till December of 19, I was still employed, a full-time employment. Wow. So
how did you find time for this?
It was insane, to be honest. First of all, I always say I give a lot of credit to my family, mm-hmm. my husband specifically. I am married. Because if I didn't have his support, it would be difficult. Mm-hmm. You know, you have a family and having a full-time job, they're running around. You should have seen me during lunchtime running from my office. And going back to what you said, that God makes possible, or the universe, whatever it is that you believe in. Mm-hmm. Because our offices moved from an area, and we moved our offices literally a 7-minute walk to the fashion district.
That is amazing.
So during my lunchtime, people will call me, a client will call me, I need a dress, can you dress me for this or for this event? And I will literally run on my lunchtime. You will see me, I wish I had a video of this, running with garment bags from the designer showroom back to my office. Because you know what, I was gonna make that happen. I couldn't lose the opportunity. And so once this person, this news anchor says, let's try this, I started dressing her. And that opportunity, helped me demonstrate my capabilities, helped me show my work, how I could make someone look professional depending on what industry they're in. In this case, it was news. And there is a big difference between entertainment and news.
What I was going to ask you. So yes. You had additional clients, not only the news clients, but you had private corporate clients.
Yes.
So tell us about the differences and how you're able to detect, right?
Yeah, well, these are things obviously that you learn in school. They teach you the differences in general, for example, talking about TV, you have news and you have entertainment. Mm-hmm. Entertainment, what are you doing? Entertaining. If you're doing the news, that entertainment is not a credible platform, but you're doing the news. It's a more serious, in a way, area of communicating. Mm-hmm. And so the same dress that I could put in someone who's doing entertainment that is maybe a mini skirt, I cannot put it on someone who's doing the news, because we know it's more conservative. Mm-hmm. It has a lot to do with on camera. That's something that I also had to learn. There are fabrics that you cannot wear on TV because of the lighting, because of depending on the studio, if it's a warm, if it's a cool studio, the colors. And it's all about so many things. It's also science involved. Does the person's skin color coordinate well with a specific hue? There's so much, and I talk about it, and I get so passionate because
of the mechanics of the different colors,
and so much.
And the chroma key as well. Like
oh my God, the chroma.
You can't do white, so you have to do bright colors.
Or I can put a bright green, that green color, for example, on a chroma, because the chroma, in that case, is green for my news segment. And so there's so many things, and I always knew, because just talking about fashion, I get emotional. I
love your outfit, by the way.
Thank you. It's something I can't explain. You look beautiful. I told you that already.
Thank you. Sign that just today, by the way.
And so, that being that I was dressing that news anchor person gave me the opportunity to show my work. And so it just enabled for me, based also on my work ethic, you know, that they said, let me see if we can give this person an opportunity to dress the rest of our news anchors. And obviously there were questions about me, who is this person? Because it's true, I've been doing this for a little under 3 years, and it's like, all of a sudden, but it's all of a sudden, just like they say. What do they say? People only see the end result. People don't see everything that you've done behind the scenes to get to where you are. Working 2 jobs, having a family, running around during lunchtime, going to bed at 2 and 3 in the morning because I have to get a set of clothing ready for the next day. And something that happens a lot is that people will literally call you, I need an outfit for in the next 3 hours. So it's like, that's my job. I can't be like, I can't do that. No, it's more like, oh my God, yes. Let me figure out where I'm going to get this. Because I never say no, in the sense of, if I know that this is something that it's going to add value to my work, I'm going to make it happen.
Did you have any mentors?
I can say that I had one. I've had several, because the people in my life, like my family, very close friends, are people that I go to all the time for advice, for a suggestion, even to help me out with the work. They've all become, in some way or form, a stylist, fashion stylist with me, because I teach them things. Like, my husband helps me all the time, prep the clothes. And so I feel like all those people are key people in my life that have added value to my life and my work. And I do have one person specifically who is the gentleman that I used to work for. I worked for an investment firm for the last 8 years, while in the last 2.5 or 3 combined with the fashion styling. He's always known that I loved fashion. He knew I went to school while I worked with the firm. They 100% supported everything I did. And he is someone, besides my husband, that I go to for business advice. He's an extremely smart man, but above all, someone that cared. You know, I feel like he was a self-made entrepreneur as well, that came from nothing. Wow. And I feel like he connected with me because he saw my drive and that desire that I had to make my dream. And when I decided that I couldn't do the 2 things together, he's the person that I went to. And he's the person who said to me, and I will never forget that, go for it. Aww. This is you gotta go for it.
And we're going to be breaking soon. So I just want to, you've come a great long way. And that is so inspiring. But when we return, we will take a quick break. And when we return, we will hear how beautiful Wendy Garcia was able to break in and work with international talent and celebrity Latin artists. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Bella Fashionistas. Now, Pepa, tell us what were your mentor's word of encouragement and how they lifted you up to continue to move forward.
Yeah, so talking back with, my boss, my ex-boss, about my decision of if I needed to part ways because it was getting to be a lot to do both jobs, 100%. It was that. He gave me his own story, and he's like, I don't let happen what happened to me, which was that I was afraid to jump, because we all are. At some point, you don't know where you're jumping into, what you're getting yourself into, and or the sacrifices that you know in the back of your head that you're gonna have to make. And it was that. It was like, just go for it. Don't wake up tomorrow and say, why didn't I do it? And it was a lot to do also with age, because I'm not in my early 20s. I'm not in my 30s. I'm in my 40s. And so starting a business at 39 years old, it's not an easy thing to do, because you're like, oh my God, what if this doesn't work out? What's gonna happen then? And then with my family, especially, I talk a lot about my husband because he is my partner. And obviously, to make a decision like this, I need to consult that with him. And if I didn't have the support of him saying, don't worry, I got you. Literally, those were his words. We'll figure it out. And I believe in you. I'm not worried because I know you're going to make it. And so, especially when you're going through a tough time, because it's not that it's easy. This fashion styling, people think that it's glamorous, that it's all the pretty and dressing these amazing people, but they're running around with 30 garments of clothes, the shopping bags from a taxi to another. It's not easy.
Rolling a rack in the street. I've seen that.
How about, the steaming 10, 12 dresses that you need really quickly.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And so, having those words of, like, a lot of times it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm still not getting home because I was bringing clothes, let's say, to the station, or somebody called me last minute, and it's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted, but you have to get up the next day and continue. Why? Because number one is what you love. Number two, I have a responsibility. At the end of the day, it's also a job. People say, when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And I think that it's a little bit contradictory, because it is a job, because you have a responsibility with your clients. And the minute that you don't show up, or the minute that you don't do what, which as a business you're expected to do, in the sense of doing a good job and being responsible, that is a job that you have to do. Whether you love it, in my case, I'm blessed that I do, it is still a responsibility. And to me, being responsible, it's fundamental, because all I have is my word and my reputation. And so that's something that I always want to maintain.
Which could be destroyed at any moment. But tell us about...
By the most minimum thing.
Tell us about... did you ever feel that you were giving up, like throwing the towel?
Yes.
Did you ever?
I'm not gonna say that I haven't thought about it, but when I do that, I have my backup system at home that says, "You're just tired today. Don't worry. Go to bed. When you wake up tomorrow, you'll be back to your own self." Crazy, happy, vibrant, want to do it all. I can do it all, because I do believe that anything is possible. And this is why, for me, this is something that I would always say yes to, an invitation like yours, because a lot of people write to me. A lot of people ask, how did you do this? How do you do it? How do you manage to do all of it together? And it's just something that, it's just my work ethic. I feel like since I was a little girl, it's something that I saw at home. My dad was always working. It was just that sense of responsibility that I was truly raised with. And so doing it for something that I love and that I'm passionate about is just literally, for me, a blessing, or like the cherry on top of the cake, like the saying says, and so he will push me. There are days that it's like, oh my God, this is too much. How am I going to do this? It's just normal. We're human beings. And there are days where, for whatever reason, you're going to be more tired than others, or you're like, can I keep doing this? And that's why I always emphasize a lot on your support system. For me, particularly, I feel like it's crucial. Absolutely.
Did you wish you did anything different?
Do I wish I did anything different? Mm, I always say that maybe started earlier. Decided to take the leap of starting my fashion styling career earlier, not because of my age, but just because there is so much more different opportunities that could have arose that maybe I could have taken. However, I do believe that maybe at the time I wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. Because, yes, because sometimes you think that, oh, I'm young, I can do it all, I can make this happen. But you have to be ready mentally. Your level of maturity has to be there, because there are opportunities that are going to come that are going to require that you have a level of responsibility, a level of maturity, and that you're ready to take on whatever it is that you're embarking, so that you come up to the plate.
Did you what keeps you striving?
What keeps me striving? I think that one of the things is I always want to make sure that I show myself that I can do it, so that I can spread that out there. Because in my day-to-day work, I encounter a lot of people that are afraid, that like me, when I was about to start my business, were nervous about it. I strive to be able to show people that it can be done, and to be successful. I believe that, in general, you want to do well. You want to be successful. You want to have a business that you're proud of. I strive for success and something that I'm proud of, and be able to share that with everyone out there, especially our younger generations. Yeah. Because we see a lot of the stuff that happens out there, and a lot of times people don't have the guidance. So yes, that's
the direction or the mentorship, or someone to kind of like push you, like your husband. It's good. It's good to have all those things. And preparation meets opportunity
100%.
at the end of the day. So I could totally see that. What has been one of the most challenging moments throughout your under 3-year career?
Challenging, I would say exactly that. When I first started in the fashion styling, because again, I started as a fashion blogger, with the posting and stuff like that. But as a fashion stylist, and I think that just like any business, you can learn anything in school, because they teach you. You have the books, you have the teacher, the professor that's going to show you what they know, right? But there is a big difference between reading and someone telling you and you doing it. So when I first started, it was a little difficult because, for example, talking specifically with my Univision project, dressing 4 news anchors. This is my first time ever. And not only do I have 1, I have 4. And so, I had a lot of questions. Even though the professor taught me, when you're prepping clothes, you need to create tags so that it has the names, it's got the details. But then I'm like, okay, but then for 4 people, and then just kind of like the organization of it, and having that guidance. And believe it or not, I do have a lot of support, and I do have a lot of people that I know I can count on. And I did reach out to a couple of stylists that have done the wardrobe styling on television, and I'm still waiting for an answer back. So that's when I decide, you know what? I contacted my mentor in the styling world, which is the professor or the teacher that I took the course with in Miami. And she immediately, said, you could do it this way, because my questions were, how do I reach out to brands so they can allow me to do pulls, to borrow their clothing for my clients?
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get the credibility of starting off from like all these high-end international brands like BCBG, Lucia Rodriguez, and Xenia New York? Like, how challenging was it for you, like when you reach out to them on the first time?
Right. So it's funny enough, because when I reached out to these specific brands that you mentioned, I had already had some credibility, and it's very heartwarming that you say Xenia, because Xenia was one of the first designers in New York. She has, as you know, she has her showroom in the city that gave me an opportunity. She did not know me from anywhere, but she did know, obviously, that I had the credibility from Univision. But at the end of the day, you don't know. So it was challenging to get, before that I had the credibility, to have brands that didn't know me. I would contact them and say, present my letter, and I would either not hear back or get the no answer. And that's okay, because what do? I just send 30 other letters, and one person is going to respond. And that's just what you got to do. You cannot just throw the towel, like we say, right? You got to keep trying. And so how do you prove yourself? That's when you start with the networking. The networking has a lot to do in this industry. And also being an honest and professional person. Because if I'm telling you I'm going to borrow your dress for my client, I got to make sure that dress comes back to you impeccable, even better than how
and
you
clean,
gave it to me.
Dry clean.
Impeccable, okay? So you create your own credibility per se in how you behave yourself, how you conduct yourself. And even though this is a very big world, in this industry, which is media, styling, it's a very tiny world. Everybody knows everybody. And I always say, put yourself in other person's shoes, and you wanna make sure that if it's your business, if it's your dress that you're lending, would you like it to be returned to you, a disaster? No. So we gotta take care of other people's belongings, because we wouldn't like it to be done to us. And so in general, that was my biggest challenge, I think, was the beginning on how to organize all these 4 ladies, how to prep all these clothings every week, how to make sure that they knew which dress to wear what day, how to coordinate them together, because imagine 3 of them do the news at the same time. So there's a lot that goes into it.
So how was it? Tell me the difference between you've been to the Latin Grammys, you've dressed Lucia, the Venezuelan actress.
Yes,
you also
Juliet.
worked with Yelena Solano. Talk to us about that.
Yes.
How was the experience?
It was amazing, like I feel like, for example, like you mentioned Yelena was one of the first people that I was recommended to for me to dress her, and she gave me the opportunity, and I will forever be grateful to her. And it all, like, again, just linking, people recommending you because they know that you are, someone that will get the work done, that you're a serious professional.
Especially in the industry.
Absolutely, especially in the industry. And it was all like someone recommending me, someone referring me. She did a great job. She dressed me. You can contact her. She will do the work. And so...
How was it working at the Latin Grammys?
The Latin Grammys was an experience that... Forget it. First of all, I will forever be grateful because it was via the school that I did the fashion styling course. They're in charge of all these award shows. And so for her to have me there, first of all, I have to say I was very proud of myself because I know that I've put the work in, and I know that means that she trusted in me, that I could be a good assistant because I was a styling assistant for her with many others. And it was an amazing experience, because again, we learn from every experience and every job that you perform. There is a learning experience from it.
It's a learning curve.
Absolutely. It's a different type of styling because I do personal styling, fashion styling, wardrobe styling, and this is a award show. So it's a show. You have 20 dancers that that they have to come out of their performance, and in a matter of seconds, literally, you have to pick up and dress them all. I mean, it was
like a fashion show.
No, worse.
It's worse.
Worse, because they're performing and singing, and then you have to undress them, and in a second they have to be dressed, go out on stage, and from there to prepping, because the first day, what do? You prep all the looks that come in. Then, the fittings come, and then you see all these celebrities, people that you've admired for years, and they're right in front of you, and it's wow, this is a dream come true for me. Perhaps I don't want to do award shows always, but it was an experience that I learned so much. There were a lot of tips and tricks that I learned that I didn't know. And I'm like, I said, oh, wow, look, when I come home, I'm definitely applying this trick into my styling now. And it's just that the experience that you live, learning the different steps, and always the different personalities. You learn from everyone's behavior per se, and from your coworkers. We all come from different places. We all come from different backgrounds. So you can always learn from anything.
How was it working as a fashion stylist for a movie?
That was very interesting again. And in fact, I acted in the movie as a stylist or as a salesperson in a store, so it was really cool. And again, now we're talking about a different type of styling, but in the end, it's all basically very similar because you have to obviously. Now this is my first time reading a script. I got sent the whole script for the movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty amazing. Like, wow. I had to read this. You read this whole script because then you got to know all the characters in the movie, what parts they're playing, so that you can understand how they need to be dressed. And then once you have that all figured out, then it comes the part of doing the pulls. Looking for the clothes.
We are almost ending. Oh. And I wish that we had another time for this, but your
awesome.
Story is just so interesting. And we have a Bellas Fashionistas 7 seconds.
Oh.
So this is the fun part, and obviously you're a fashion stylist, so you're gonna be able to be fast, right? So it's a back and forth. It's like you throw the ball on the basketball court, and then you have to come around again. Okay. So who dresses you?
Myself and the brands that I work with.
Okay, more specific. Who is your favorite fashion designer?
Oh my God, fashion designer, I would say Gabrielle Bonner, which is Coco Chanel.
Top female fashion designer?
Coco Chanel.
Coco Chanel.
Yes.
Fashion icon?
Iris Apfel.
Top shoe designer?
Shoe designer, I would say Yves Saint Laurent. Yves Saint Laurent.
Top 5 dress codes, dresses or pants?
Pants.
Blazer or no blazer?
Blazer.
Stilettos or thick heel?
Stilettos.
When you're not in work clothes, you are in?
Dressed up.
Makeup or no makeup?
I'm a no makeup person.
Really?
But with lashes.
But with lashes.
Yeah,
How do
definitely.
you make that up? You can't make that up. How do you do that? With eyelashes and no makeup?
Yeah, the individual lashes. So they're semi-permanent. So you always look like you have makeup on.
Oh, okay. And you've also styled hair because we've seen.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so that's
I
another
do it
section
all,
of that.
basically.
Yes.
You have to be versatile.
Yes.
So I didn't go to school for hair. I just learned how to do certain things, which it's come very much in hand when I've needed to change a hairstyle, because when you're styling, maybe you're changing outfits.
Absolutely.
And one outfit maybe doesn't go with your hair straight. So you got to be versatile. You got to have like un pulpo,
Sí. Hands everywhere.
Yes.
And I want to thank you so much for joining us today, for accepting our invitation. Sharing your story has been so much fun.
Thank
and you have come a long way.
And
I wish you nothing but the best. I want to thank you for giving us the FYIs on what you would say to a younger you. And so what's next for you, and where can people reach you? Very fast.
People can reach me on Instagram, which is Pepa Garcia NY. My website, it's pepagarcia.net. On Facebook, Pepa Garcia. And what's next for me? I am working on a product that I want to launch on the market for women.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And if you want to hear more, visit Pepa, follow her on her IG account. Now, when we will take a quick break, and when we return, we will speak to the president and CEO of Latinas in Business, a nonprofit organization that advocates for the economic empowerment of Latinas and minority-owned businesses. Don't go anywhere.
Did you know that brain and spinal cord tumors are the deadliest form of pediatric cancer? It can happen to anyone.
I'm not hungry. My tummy hurts.
You can help us be part of the solution.
And branding educational resources and promotional events. Please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of Latinas in Business, Susana Baumann. Susana, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, FireSide, it's such a pleasure to be here. I'm ecstatic because in the short time that I've known you, I have seen you blossom. And it is congratulations. You know, you have drive, you have ambition, and that's great. I love to see every Latina that has that intention in their passion and their dreams.
And Susana, you have come a long way too, I must say. You have
very long.
You have been, and everyone, she's gonna come back, and we're gonna do obviously an exclusive interview on you because you have a stellar background.
Thank
and
you.
I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity, Susana, to partner up in your previous events that we worked together. And thank you because you see me as a blossom. I have seen you blossom as well. We're Latinas in business, and I want to be able to thank you for that.
Sure.
So talk
Absolutely.
to us about Latinas in business and what you guys have been doing for the past years.
Okay. So I started this initiative in 2014 as a result of a bad thing that happened to me. I had a car accident, and I had my own business for 20-some years in multicultural marketing communications. And in March of 2014, I had a really bad accident, and I went from traveling all over the country. I had clients in 9 states to walk with a cane.
Wow.
I know. And so for 2 years, they were not able to diagnose what the problem was. I had injuries in my spine, and then they discovered that I had an injury in my hip. That summer, I was just going off my mind. It's like, I cannot do nothing. So I started this initiative in September 2014 as a virtual initiative. And then it started to take off by itself. You know, sometimes projects happen and they take their life on their own. And because I've been around a couple of times around the block, a lot of people know me. I've been in publishing on and off, so I knew a lot of people, and I knew a lot of Latina leaders. And I was able to pick up a phone and say, this is what we're doing. So the initiative took off. But I was putting money out of my pocket, and I decided 2 years ago, okay, we're going to go the nonprofit status. And we did. Nice. So we are a young nonprofit with a very ambitious vision, which is to become national.
And you have come a long way because you have had several events where you have had successful stories.
Yes.
You've been able to connect so many Latina-owned businesses. Yeah. And I love the drive because you're pushing us forward. As a minority-owned business, yes. Latina-owned, it is incredible to see a Latina doing this as well. Tell us about the events. How do Latinas join? What are the programs and the services aside from what you have already mentioned to us?
Right. So right now we have about 1,300 members with a stronghold in the Northeast, but we have clusters in California, obviously, Miami, Chicago, and what we do is to promote them. One of the different things that we do is that we offer a platform, a digital magazine, let's put it that way, so that we promote them and we feature them and we do social media campaigns. To this day, approximately about 400 Latinas have been through our pages. Incredible. So that's incredible. So the other thing we do is we have 2 promotional events a year. We started with the Latina Small Biz Expo and pitch competition. That has been 5 years in the works. And then last year we started with the Entrepreneur Empowerment Lunch, and we had 2 events of that. This year we had First Lady Tammy Murphy from New Jersey as keynote speaker. So it's growing, and it's growing very fast, and people are really taking a lot of interest in these promotional events because we show you. It's not about Susana Baumann. It's about the members. It's about bringing them the opportunity, bringing them then on stage, and promoting what they do. My initiative started because I know that we women and Latinas tend to work very in isolation. And always my intention and my message is we have to unite and we have to become each other's resources. We have to become each other's supporters and cheers and help each other to be successful, because if not, it's just like a little rat race. Everybody's going in parallel and with a lot of difficulties. And that's the idea, to become really an umbrella where people can have mentors, find resources, a directory, and other opportunities to sell and buy products from each other.
And you have been a pillar at this for 5-6 years now, right?
Yeah.
And that's so important. Talk to us about, I know that you've had, at your events, you have private corporations and also city agencies that you're also connecting them to. Talk to us about how you get to do this and how that benefits them.
With a lot of effort.
I know.
With a lot of effort. And I have to say, I have one good quality, I would say, that I'm not afraid of the phone. I can pick up a phone. I don't have a problem. And I do sales. I love sales because sales is about convincing someone else that your product is a product that is going to improve your life and improve your business and improve. So I talk to people. I just go visit, try. And really the sponsors have been responsive. I have steady sponsors that kind of walk with me in this project. And it's very, very inspiring. It's very exciting to have people who are cheering for us, or if they participate one time and the first time and say, I didn't expect this. I'm really impressed. And I'm very, as I did with my other business, I am very, very dedicated to put the best effort in best details in best event that I can with the resources that I have. So I think people see that. And also the members see that I put them on stage. You have been a speaker in our events.
Yes.
So, and I think also you had an award. Yes. So we really want to create this space for you guys, not for me. I already had my run.
Tell us what are some of the examples. I know that throughout your events, you've had workshops. You have where I was able to moderate one of them.
Yes.
Talk to us about those workshops. And you also have a showcase where you have companies and private and corporations also come in and be part of this trade show. Talk to us about that.
So the workshops is during the Entrepreneur Empowerment Lunch, which this year we are in a rebranding process. Because we want to reach to more minority women. And it's going to become the Women Entrepreneur Empowerment Lunch. And that happens in June. And this year it's going to be in New York.
Nice.
So I'm very excited.
Nice.
Yes. And so we offer the workshops, and then we have the Entrepreneur Empowerment Lunch Award reception, where we have the 12 Latinas that were on the spotlight during that previous year. They receive a recognition. And then we have in November the Latina Small Business Expo that now is going to be the Multicultural Women Small Business Expo and pitch competition, which is an opportunity for young women to present their businesses in 3 minutes. And last year, there was a $2,000 cash prize and $10,000 in business services.
That is amazing. One of your a competition participant was able to go to HSN as well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The very first, I didn't want to do events. This is a funny story. And so I was at a fair and as an exhibitor, and someone, a sponsor from a bank, he approached me and he said, I have money and I want to do an event for you. Oh, no, I'm not ready. You know, women are like that. We are like that. No, I'm not ready. Well, he said, I'm going to give this money to someone else. And wait a minute. Okay, let's say. The very first, I was very lucky to have as a judge, Lily Hill Valet. Became one of the winners. So it was very, very exciting.
Your programs and your events are amazing. It keeps on pushing our Latina community forward.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for that because we need that.
Yes.
There isn't that.
Yes.
And you're in New Jersey, obviously. Everyone doesn't know that, but she is in New Jersey. She runs this, and she's going to have her first event here in New York City this year.
Yes.
What's next? Tell us what's next for Latinas in business.
Well, one of the services that we offer is personal branding, personal and business branding. So I'm very important. And so I am now starting to personally conduct that part of the, because we have the editorial services and we have the marketing and advertising and social media campaigns. But now I'm really pushing into personal and business branding. Mm-hmm. And I am now doing a presentation, personal presentation that I do in person. I did one for Working Mother Media last year. And I'm working on my new book.
Oh, congratulations.
Speak Up, Tell Your Story to Influence Others. Mm-hmm. We need to speak up. Yes. We need to talk about us, but with intention. Storytelling is not about what happened. It's about message. And when you know how to tell your story with message, is when you really, really reach the audience and put that little seed in that mind of the person who is your audience.
And it's like the pitch. So you're teaching them about the pitch composition, yes, but to speak from the heart, exactly, right? To be able to show your product.
Yes.
And that's so important to do that,
yes,
because if we cannot do that, then we cannot sell our products and our business will not grow.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Susana, for being able to do what you do and to continue to push our Latina and minority, because now it's multicultural, right, small business folks forward.
Sure. And you are doing a fantastic job. Congratulations.
And thank you for your support.
Thank you.
So we're here for you. Anything that you need, come back. We'll be able to continue to promote your events.
Sure.
Please don't hesitate to
And
contact
everybody
us.
can reach me through latinasinbusiness.us, LinkedIn, Instagram. We have a new account on Instagram.
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter, obviously. And that's, people can contact me at any time.
And to be able to see your next event, please go on to her website. She has a few events coming up, the event in June and then in the fall, right?
In November.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, Susana.
Sure.
I'm very grateful for you. And continue pushing on and taking the Latina businesses forward.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining us throughout the month of March. Thank you so much.
It's time to get serious about your future. At Bronx Community College, you can earn an Associate of Applied Science degree and become a medical laboratory technician in as little as 2 years. Earn a salary of over $50,000 a year in one of the most rewarding careers in medicine. All you need is a high school diploma or equivalent to get started. Those who qualify can get tuition covered by grants and scholarships, so why wait? For program details, contact Bronx Community College today.